This video, I'm going to talk about how to get an internship, or rather, how to get an internship or a full time job, or how to apply for these things if you're in the US and you're a student, right? Uh, I'm making this video because the system for applying for jobs is different in India and the US, and could be different depending upon where you're from in the world. And so I'll give some information about how the job recruitment process here works, and hopefully, if you're an international student, you get something out of it, right? Because you're interested in landing a job, right? So, I am in computer science. I will talk about like computer science experience, right? How to get a job. I can't really like the basic steps should still apply if you're in a different department and a different role, but the interview specific steps might be different, right? So you can still watch if you want, but this video will have a lot of information which is computer science specific, right? So first thing, you have to apply on the company websites, right? Colleges in the US don't really have placement systems, meaning in India, we have placements, meaning companies come to the colleges to hire people. That doesn't really happen in the US. So you have to apply to job openings on the company website, right? And the thing is, when you apply to these openings on the company website, you are applying against hundreds or thousands of other people for the same job opening, right? Whereas in India, you would have been applying, let's say, against all the other people in your department for the same job opening, right? So it is harder for sure. You have to apply more for sure. But I'll walk you through it, right? So essentially, you go to the company website and you apply to the positions there, right? You would preferably network on LinkedIn. So you would like reach out to recruiters on LinkedIn. You would message them and you would try and send them your resume and try and get an interview, right? It's the same thing. Note that just messaging a recruiter doesn't really guarantee an interview. You have to apply anyway, because if you apply, your name's in the queue, sort of, but like the recruiter can just pick your name from the queue and decide to give you an interview, but your name has to be in the queue. You know what I mean? Usually it obviously helps to talk to a recruiter, but you have to have already applied to the position. Like, that's the prerequisite. You can't not apply, right? So apply on the company websites. You can also apply on LinkedIn. LinkedIn has the job openings. You can apply on LinkedIn. That also works sometimes, but they're called easy applies, but all the time they will redirect you to the company website itself, so that works. If you want internships, look up internships. If you want full-time roles, look up full-time roles. Just go and apply. Internships are typically summer, so like May to August, 3 months. A co-op is like a part-time job you do, or a full-time job maybe, right? A part-time or a full-time job you do during the semester, so it would not be the summer. It could be the winter or the spring, right? That's like you do it along with your studies at the university. That's what a co-op is. A full-time job typically could just start at any time, and usually people post job openings soon to when they want the role to be filled and when they want the person to start the job. But if you're looking for new grad 2020, whatever, whenever it is you're watching this video, if you're looking for like new grad roles, so new grad roles typically start in, well, they start in May. They start in May or August after summer, so they start after you graduate, right? It's not a hard rule, but that's usually the case, right? So when you say new grad means after graduation. That's the typical start date. New grad roles would not typically start in like January or whatever, but you could talk to the recruiter. Maybe there are exceptions, perhaps, but that's what new grad means, right? New grad roles would also have less expectations as per experience and stuff, because you're like a university graduate. Maybe you haven't worked in the in a company for a long time, so they have like less just less requirements, or like less prerequisites in that way, and so it's like easier to get into those roles, I guess. Most people apply for new grad roles once they graduate, if you don't, in general. So that's just the way it is. Get referrals from people in the company who or just get referrals from get referrals from people who in the company, or from your friends, if you have friends who are working in the same company. So the idea is, if you get a referral, your name in the queue, in the application queue, will like fast forward to the top of the queue, so you have a higher chance of getting picked. So referrals definitely help. How referrals work are, you are supposed to ask someone to refer you for XYZ positions. So you're supposed to give your friend job IDs, right? So each position has a job ID. So you're supposed to give him job IDs, and then he refers you for those positions, and then you get a special link to apply to those positions. And then you click on that link and apply, and it gives your resume a chance to go to the top of the application queue. You don't apply to a position and then ask for a referral. You ask for a referral first, you get the specialized link, and then you apply through that link. That's how that usually works. It helps for sure. Try and go to career fairs, in-person career fairs, online career fairs. Try and talk to recruiters one-on-one. It definitely helps. Helps get you interviews, helps get you just calls and stuff like that, right? So typically, if you're in CS, the first round, or the first sort of opening call that you will get, is called an OA. It means an online assessment. It's basically a lead code round, or a hacker rank round. If you're in CS, I assume you know what those words mean. It might be windy out, so I don't know if that's interfering with the audio, but it's basically a coding assignment. It's a lead code round, so 2 to 3 questions, probably lead code medium level. You'll be given a link to just solve the problems, right? Could be on lead code, could be on some other platform, but usually during an OA, it's just you and the problems. There is no interviewer. So typically it's like you sort of like, you open the, so it's like start challenge. You click start challenge, the thing opens up. You apply, you solve the problems, and you click submit, right? The first round's an OA. It's a purely email generated round. No humans involved, nothing involved. It's like a test, right? If you pass the OA, your resume gets sent to a recruiter for the very first time in the process, right? The recruiter then looks at your resume and decides whether or not you are a fit for the role. If you are a fit for the role, you get the next round of interviews, which is typically coding rounds. So you'd get another coding interview, but this time it would be live. So it would be like a video call, like a Zoom call or something, and you'd have to code on HackerRank again, let's say, but you have to like solve a problem and kind of mention your approach solving the problem. So it's like a live coding interview. You would usually have 1 to 2 such live coding interviews, followed by a behavioral interview, right? Followed by, that's it. That's the end, and then you get the offer. Or you don't get the offer, but that's usually what the process looks like. If it's an internship, it might be easier, like 1 coding round and 1 behavioral interview, or just like 1 giant round with everything mushed in. That's possible. If it's a full-time role, it might be more extensive. You might have like 4 rounds, 5 rounds, right? You might have like a system design round. You might have 3 coding rounds. It depends, right? It will be more drawn out for a full-time role, but that's usually how the roles go. And then that's it. You submit the thing, and they get back to you, and yeah, that's it. You wait for the offer. That's pretty much how it goes. If you are applying for full-time jobs, don't get discouraged. um, I'd say people who have really, really good resumes and like impressive work experience, they probably get like 2 or 3 maybe callbacks for every 10 applications they send, right? um, so usually it's a lot lower, actually. On average it might be 2 for 20 or something like that, or even lower, right? So, and it depends upon the market situations, like like right now there's like a recession going on, so response rates are lower. It depends on a bunch of things, but usually those are the kind of the numbers you'd be expecting. So you definitely have to keep applying. You can't just apply to 10 jobs and stop and think no one reached out to me, right? People end up applying for hundreds of jobs. Like, I have friends who have job applications in thousands during the recession. So they have applied to thousands of jobs, like myself included. Probably, like, I've actually lost count, but it's like you just keep applying, and you wait for callbacks, and when you get them, you try and get interviews, right? But usually it's not going to be that bad when you apply, so it's going to be all right. But just to set the expectations for the numbers. Don't expect like one-on-one interviews for every application you send out, right? So that's the way it is. That's what I had. Hopefully this stuff was useful to you in some way. Let me know what stuff you want to see on the channel. Like and subscribe. See you guys in the next one. Hello. Bye for now. Have a great day.